No, we can continue.
Okay. So for our second project, we turn to improving poultry health and food safety through innovative alternatives to antibiotics. It is my pleasure to introduce Percy Mudaki, a PhD student in the lab of Dr. Moshe Shemesh from the Department of Animal Science, Food Microbiology and Safety at ARO. She will present the key findings from his collaboration project with AMBA. Percy?
Do you need to share your screen? So you should share window instead of share screen.
Can we change? Okay.
You can start. We see, it's fine. I'm not sure that.
Yeah.
Yes. 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 Can you hear us? Can you raise your hand if you hear us? Yes, okay, so I hear us. Okay, great. So you can start.
I hope I'm audible. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here today. So I'm passing the key from Dr. Moshe Shemesh's lab that will kindly execute. And today I have the privilege of walking through our research, which is on functionalizing antagonistic bacillus as a biocontrol agent towards sustainable food production. And this research was made possible through collaborations between Volcanic Institute, the NIFA BARD, and the Israeli Innovation Authority, and our many other research partners. Now, for the longest, human beings have taught spoilage for centuries using preservation techniques such as cooking, drying, smoking, refrigeration, canning, to name but a few. And also most recently through the use of chemical preservatives and also some antibiotics. Now, among these, fermentation is unique because it harnesses beneficial microorganisms, produce compounds that enhance food safety, quality, and shelf life. Now, despite these innovations, such as the use of chemical preservatives, we still find that the foodborne pathogens remain a major challenge, creating a need for us to develop sustainable alternatives to that. Now, as earlier mentioned, fermentation is a unique process and it forms the foundation or the basis of our research in the lab. And from studies that have been indicated that during fermentation, beneficial microbes, which tend to term as the probiotics, tend to utilize nutrients and release diverse bioactive compounds, which we term as, or are collectively termed as postbiotics. And these postbiotics include cell wall fragments, microbial lysats, and other metabolites. And it has been studied in a conclusive or still being studied that these postbiotics tend to play a pivotal role in enhancing both human and animal health by promoting gut health, regulating gut immunity, and also improving digestion. And not only this, but also in the food industry, they have been shown to inhibit biofilms and food pathogens, while also delaying food spoilage. And also add to this, postbiotics have been shown to enhance organoleptic properties. Now, building on the potential of the postbiotics, our lab focuses on addressing a majority of agricultural challenges, and we're going to point out three main challenges. In the first one, ranging from green mold in tomato, which is caused by botrytis cinerea, and also the staphylococcal mastitis in the dairy industry, and salmonella in the poultry industry. We use and are still using a postbiotic from our Bacillus thuringiensis strain BX27, which is developed in our lab. Today, I'll primarily focus on our efforts to control salmonella in poultry using our BX27 derived postbiotic. But first, I would like to acknowledge our collaborators at funding agencies. That is the NIFA BARD and the Israeli Innovation Authority, in collaboration with Volcanic Institute, the Kimbron Veterinary Institute, and Amber Nutritional Solutions. And without forgetting our human resource, I'd like to appreciate Dr. Moshe Shemesh of the Department of Science, our lab manager, Dr. Yulia Blisky, and my former lab mates, such as Professor Sarika and Adi, and also current DOL. I'd also like to appreciate our collaborating scientist, Professor Sella, and from the Kimbron Veterinary Institute, I would like to appreciate Dr. Igal and Dr. Avishai Guptin. From the Amber Nutrition Solutions, I'd like to appreciate Mr. Nimrod, and from the US, I'd like to appreciate our collaborating scientist, who is Professor Adina from the University of Connecticut. Now, going back to Enelico's salmonella, salmonella is not just a food safety issue. It's a global public health crisis. And it's also been known to be a ubiquitous pathogen, which is transmitted to human beings through the consumption of contaminated crops and also through infected chicks, so infected poultry and poultry products. And we also get this disease from other contaminated meat sources such as cows and whatnot. And finally, we get this disease also from contaminated water sources, which result to salmonellosis, the disease which we tend to suffer from, and is characterized by high fever, gastroenteritis, and in high-risk populations tends to result in hospitalization and some cases also in death. In order to mitigate salmonella, current strategies heavily rely on antibiotics, and this has resulted to AMR, or antimicrobial resistance. And this task has led to us needing an alternative for these antibiotics. And this is where fermentation products or fermentation-derived probiotics tend to come in to provide a sustainable solution. Now, based on the antimicrobial potential of our X77, we hypothesized that the postbiotic derived from our BX will be safe and support growth performance in chicken, poultry, and will also reduce salmonella colonization in broiler birds. And finally, we hypothesized that it maintain anti-salmonella activity during storage, especially in its dry or lyophilized form. And the following were our objectives, which included assessing the safety of the postbiotic and its effects on the growth performance of the broiler chicks, and also to evaluate the efficacy of a postbiotic on reducing the salmonella coverage. And finally, our final objective was to assess the stability and antagonistic activity of this postbiotic in both lyophilized and liquid form under ambient temperature of 25 degrees Celsius and under refrigeration temperatures of 4 degrees, and testing this against salmonella epidemic. So our first step was to generate this postbiotic, and we did this by growing or germinating alfalfa seeds at 25 degrees Celsius for 72 hours, and then proceeded to crush them and also place them for the purpose of sterilization. And we centrifuge this to separate the debris from the liquid, and this is what the liquid is also termed as sprout extract. And the sprout extract acts as a fermentation medium, and it has been shown to also enhance the antagonistic activity of BX77. And so after getting the sprout extract, we now inoculate our BX77 into it and do a fermentation for 24 hours, after which we process it further by doing our refrigeration so as to obtain a self supernatant, which we term as CM. The following illustrates the optimal fermentation conditions which we used for the preparation of this postbiotic, and it was developed and optimized by Dr. Sarika Bauer. Now, we needed to understand when the antimicrobial activity of our BX77 appears during fermentation. And so my former labmate, Adi, conducted an in vitro study on the conditioned media over 48 hour fermentation periods. And from the graph, we're able to see it on the x-axis that represents the hours measured in the test, and the y-axis represents the growth, or rather the count of the salmonella in CV per ml. And we observed that the salmonella growth started to decline from the 8th hour, and by the 16th hour, it was completely eliminated. So we got curious and did microscopic analysis, and we saw that from the 16th hour, when this complete elimination of salmonella, we saw that it's when our BX77 started to form biofilms, and the biofilm formation increased up to the 48th hour, and it suggested that there might be a possible relationship between the physiological states of the bacteria and the production of the antimicrobial substances or compounds. So having generated the postbiotic, we then proceeded to evaluate safety in the broiler chickens. And we did this by first acquiring at least 90 birds from a hatchery and divided them into two main groups, with the x-axis representing the treatment, that's the control, and the CM, which is a treatment group. So we carried this experiment over a period of 5 weeks, and we gave the chicks our postbiotic as a drinking supplement in a ratio of 1 to 10. And in the first week, we saw that there was no significant difference in weight gain, and this was expected because the initial phase of our treatment. However, in the third week, we saw that there was a significant change in weight gain, and we elucidated that this could have been probable, could have been a result of the probable mechanism of action of postbiotics, which has been studied for and since use some of the modes of action of a postbiotic include enhancing metabolism through the production of short-chain fatty acids and also enhancing or modulating the gut immunity. For the 55 we saw that there was no significant change in weight gain, and we stated that this could be as a result of the great number of outliers which we had in our CM treatment group, which weighed less than 2 kilograms, and we elucidated that we had as a result of genetic factors as we use only male BARD ancestors. We also wanted to understand how our postbiotic treatment affects the microbiome, the gut microbiome, and from the alpha and the beta diversity, we're able to see that in the different ratios which you give the treatment, its treatments actually enhanced or improved the richness of gut microbiome in comparison with the control, which was only tap water. And so we concluded that based on this microbiome analysis, that our treatment did not disrupt or cause any detrimental effect to the gut. And then in order to ascertain our postbiotic safety, those in order to ascertain our postbiotic safety, those did a histopathological examination or assessment of the various tissues or organs of the BARD, and we noted that there were no abnormalities also recorded so far in tissues. And so these findings demonstrated that our postbiotic had a strong safety profile. On to our second objective, we started off by first determining the right inoculum dosage for the chicks, just to ensure that there is great or good colonization of the gut and minimal to zero mortality. And so in the first graph, which is marked A, we had 3 inoculum doses, 7, 8, and 9. And we saw that the colonization was dose dependent, with the 9 logs having better colonization in comparison to all the other dosage. However, in the second graph, we also recorded that despite the fact that there was better colonization in the 9th log, it led to high mortality rates in chicks. And interestingly enough, also the 7th log led to mortality. So based on these results, we decided to use the 8th log, which had better colonization and no mortality recorded. Used that virtual chicks, and we divided them into 3 groups: the negative control, the positive control, which was infected with the salmonella, not given treatment, and our treatment group. And we again gave the postbiotic as a drinking water supplement to chicks in a 1 to 10 ratio. And the following were our results. On the x-axis, we see the treatments, while on the y-axis, we have the growth of the count of the Salmonella infantis, which we use for our inoculation. And in the first week, we saw that after 7 days post-infection, we saw that there was a significant 1.5 log reduction, and this was corresponding to around 96% reduction. However, in the subsequent weeks afterwards, we did not detect any salmonella for samples, and we elucidated that this could have been as a result of the presence of maternal antibodies. Despite these challenges, we deduced that our CL has the potential to effectively reduce salmonella colonization. And for our final objective, which was assessing the stability of our CM, we partook in this objective because our end goal is to develop commercialized CM and also to make it portable and a functional formulation. And so that was the rationale behind us performing this test. So we compared the liquid CM against the dry CM and following our results. So on the x-axis, we have the treatments with the control just being just either the stock extract and the liquid stored at room temperature and refrigeration temperature, and the numbers 1 to 4 showing the duration at which I did the tests, and the y-axis again shows the count. So for the liquid CM, we're able to note that the liquid CM stored at 4 degrees Celsius maintained its antagonistic activity against salmonella for the first 2 months in comparison to the one stored at room temperature, which lost its activity all 2 months. And also we saw that now in the 3rd and 4th months, there was a gradual loss of activity in our liquid CM as well. And we elucidated to them as a result of degradation of some key metabolites such as surfactant, which also plays a key role in antagonistic activity of our plasma cell. For the dry CM, we had some better news, and we saw that both formulations, which are stored at 25 degrees Celsius and at 4 degrees Celsius, maintained their stability for at least 3 months. And then in the 4th month, there's now a gradual degradation of key metabolites. That's why we hope to see a gradual decline of its activity against salmonella. So in summary, we're able to conclude that the application of our postbiotic this year reduced salmonella carriage by 1.5 logs, corresponding to 96% reduction. And also we concluded that the CM doesn't have the chicks as indicated or shown or illustrated by our results, the weight gain and biological results. And finally, we concluded that our lyophilized formulation is more stable and a practical alternative to liquid preparation. And that being said, the following are our future objectives or insights, in which we aim to test the effectiveness of CM on reducing the coverage of other salmonella seromas, such as Typhoid and Hepatitis, and also we aim to check the effectiveness of our dry formulation against Salmonella infantis, comparison to the results which we have right now. And we also aim to develop a nano formulation in collaboration with Professor Abina from Connecticut University and test this formulation and regards to stability and effectiveness in vitro and also in vivo. And finally, we aim to examine the activity of CM against other pathogenic bacteria, such as Campylobacter jejuni, which is also important in poultry industry. I would like to appreciate our collaborators and colleagues from the Volcani Institute, the Hebrew University, Hebrew Veterinary Institute, Doom Business units led by Kathy, and Amber Nutritional Solutions represented by Nimrod Zoon. Finally, Mr. Agina from the University of Connecticut, and a great appreciation also to the funding agencies that include Agricultural Research Organization, the Chief Scientist at the Ministry of Agriculture, the Innovation Authority of Israel, and also NIFA BARD in collaboration with other agencies presented below. And I'd also like to appreciate my lab mates, both past and present, and my lab manager, his team, and my PI, of course, Dr. Moshe. And to all of you, I'd like to appreciate also listening.
Thank you, Percy. Do we have any questions? Now is the time.
Yeah, here it is, Yoram. Which company is actually involved in this project, and what is the commercialization view?
We have NIFA BARD, have the sorry, have the industry Amber, Amber Nutritional Solutions. And what was the second question?
Which company is involved, and what are the future plans for them to take up on the technology?
I thought you can just go back.
That's a great question. So the first response about the company was the BARD company. Nimrod Sur, we're working with Nimrod, and we think that the major direction it would be developing the feed for broilers. enriched with products we produce during fermentation. So that's most probable point of entry into the industry, I think.
Thank you very much. Can you shed a little bit more light on the collaboration with the NIFA researcher?
With Abby, he's a scientist from Veterinary Institute in the Connecticut University. His specialty is to developing sustainable methodology to mitigate pathogenic species in the broilers. And also he has been developing some nano formulations to make the probiotics and postbiotics more stable for subsequent formulations.
Thank you.
So if we don't have any further questions for Percy and Dr. Shemesh, we will now be taking a 5-minute break, and then we'll return for the last presentation by Dr. Hagai Spiegel. So see you soon all.